If you had to give advice to somebody who's starting out in trading or has been doing it for a while and hasn't quite got there yet, what would you give them in terms of like a roadmap to become successful?
I would say there's like three things every person or trader needs to be a consistently profitable trader, not just a profitable. Anybody could be a profitable trader. Most people are profitable traders, but can you be a consistently profitable trader? Anybody can win one trade. Anybody can get a funded account, get one payout, but can you do it long term? I did it for a year and then I stopped being able to do it. I had bills still. And guess what? No matter what I already did, I wasn't doing it no more. It comes down to what are you going to be able to keep doing? I had got payouts before. I had past funded accounts before. I had the money from trading to pay for my bills, but from doing dumb things, from losing my money, I wasn't able to do that no more. From like building those bad habits, it gets a lot harder. But you got to understand the three things. First, you're going to need a system, strategy, whatever you want to call it, something you have confidence in. You don't need to be risking money on it to have confidence in it. The same thing that works on demo will work on a live account. In terms of the trading, the market, liquidity, the process, the setups, money doesn't matter. It's going to do the same thing regardless if you take it on a paper trade, a live account. The only difference is you might not have emotions. You might not be as happy, but the process is going to be the same exact thing. Get confidence in yourself and your system with a strategy first on demo. From there, that's when you're going to have to learn the risk management. That's when you're going to have to learn emotional control. But you don't want to be learning all three of those at the same time. Trying to manage your emotions while trying to figure out if your strategy works, if your system works, if you're even a good trader, trying to build a risk management. When you're trying to do all these at the same time, you don't know what the problem is. Focus on one thing first. Start with demo, because guess what? You're only going to be saving money. You can keep your job. Just have it structured to where you're saving money and only focusing on building a system and plan that you can just wake up, follow. Like I said, have a daily routine, have a daily step-by-step. Just wake up, follow the same exact thing. This could be the trading plan. Step 1, do this. Step 2, look for this. Step 3, look for this. And based off of that, just follow it every day. And then over time, have the journal, learn from the L's, learn from the W's, and it's an experience game. Any system works. The market is going to be the same market no matter what system. If it's a system, somebody probably thought it worked to an extent, so it probably worked before on something. But guess what? It's not a matter of if the system works. It's not a matter of if the strategy works. Is the person going to be able to use it? A bike works, but guess what? If you don't know how to ride a bike, it doesn't mean the bike doesn't work. You just don't know how to ride a bike. I could take the bike and ride it perfectly fine. It doesn't mean that it doesn't work, but guess what? You might throw the bike away, blaming the bike. That's not how it works. I wish it was as easy as having a good system and strategy, because we all would be able to make a lot more money. All of us would.
All right, folks, here we are on Trading Nut. We've got Andre Diaz in the house from Miami. This guy's been trading live for the last, I think, 4 years, and he's been highly recommended by a lot of other traders out there as the next up-and-coming trader. So, Andre, welcome to the show.
I'm happy to be here. I'm here for all the people that watched Trading Nut and want to be on Trading Nut, because even, like I was saying, a lot of people have watched you and they were like me. Time goes by fast. You don't realize how much can change when you actually just put your mind to it. People are thinking they have goals 5-10 years. You can do it in 6 months, a year. Just that's the first thing I want to say to get it started, because I know a lot of people are going to be in my position since I'm younger. I'm only 22.
Right. Yeah. So 22. Yeah. So you've been like 4 years ago, you were 18 when you first started streaming live. You're trading.
I would say, yeah, it started at 17, because at 17, that's when I graduated high school. Like 2020 was when I graduated high school and like found out about trading. So it was like a lot of stuff was going on around that time.
Yeah. I actually went through yesterday and watched your very first live stream. And even then, like, your level of technical analysis was pretty good. It was pretty spot on. I mean, do you want to talk us through that sort of journey in terms of how you started off and what got you in, and just how you got to the point now where great, yes, even this week you made a quick $2,000. I saw just the other day, even after taking a loss, which is fantastic. So yeah, do you want to walk us through that whole journey?
Folks, if you want to trade big without risking your own money, check out Blue Guardian. You can get instant funding up to $400K, and they sponsor Chris Eubank Jr. and Birmingham City FC. Check them out at blueguardian.com or click the link in the description.
So yeah, I'll just start from the beginning. Like I said, I started trading. I found out about trading in 2019. I was on vacation in Puerto Rico. For whatever reason, my YouTube algorithm led me to just find trading for whatever reason. And one thing led to the next. I'm downloading MetaTrader. I'm like playing with like the Meta Quotes demo. I'm just like, the first time ever using it, I'm just buying and selling. That was like the first thoughts. I didn't even really know about like trading the industry at that point. It was just kind of like my first glimpse. I was like 16 at the time. Fast forward a year later, I never did anything with it. It was just kind of like I downloaded the app, played around with it. I didn't have enough money to even do anything, even if I wanted to at that time. But a year later, COVID, graduating high school. I didn't take my SATs. I'm going straight into the world. I either have to just work to make money. I was living with my parents at the time, or I got to figure out a way or figure out a route to do something. I didn't want to go to college because, in my opinion, I had no reason to. A lot of people go to college because they have an idea, they have a certain job. I didn't have none of that. I just knew I wanted to work for myself. I just didn't necessarily know how. I tried things like drop shipping in 10th grade. Didn't do much besides lose money. The little bit that I'd put into it, I lost it. But that was like little things, little businesses that I was trying to kind of get my foot into the door, doing like real estate research, like on YouTube, Grant Cardone, just stuff like that, trying to figure out something. And then that's when COVID happened. And then it was just home all the time. That's when I had things such as the Trading Nut podcast, just a lot of information because I was working under the table because the whole restrictions, everything was a little bit different at the time. I wasn't technically working, but I was working at warehouses, just like under the table essentially. So it was just 8-hour shifts, just listening to podcasts, listening to YouTube videos, and then in between on my breaks, because I would go on break at like 9:15. So then I'll have like 10, 15 minutes. The 9:30 will be there. And then it was just like very repetitive. But that's like the beginning of my journey. And then fast forward, I would say a year and a half to 2 years into my trading, that's when I really say I started trading the way that I trade right now. Because I've traded the way that I've traded for a long time, but I didn't have the success that I would say I have now, the success, right? Until I started really learning about myself and the risk management, the emotional control aspect. Because like you said, you can go back to my first live stream on YouTube. I understood the markets for the most part. And in my opinion, I think a lot of people understand the markets, know how to read the charts, understand it to the extent of being able to catch a trade. But it's not just that that's going to make you money. It's not just that that's going to be able to make you a profit. It's a lot more to the puzzle than just meets the eye. But that's like the beginning phase of my journey. A year and a half in, that's when I started really getting into more like FTMO. That's when prop firms came around. Like I never was really heavy into depositing a lot of money because I didn't have a lot of money to deposit. I'll put in $100, $100. And over time, I'll probably stack up to maybe $2,000, $3,000 of just losing money in that first year and a half. But once I started learning about ICT concepts, smart money, I started learning around that side of the market. And in my opinion, it just made me more aware of the market in itself, not worrying about money, more or less worrying about the process of how am I going to be able to keep replicating money? What is going to be the process that's going to be able to bring money as a byproduct? And that's when it started to shift because in the beginning, what's the best strategy? What's going to be able to make me money every day? How can I get in the market? What is this? How can I get a sniper entry? Like that was the first year and a half to 2 years. Then year 2, 3, 4, it was 100% me in my own way, knowing how to trade, still over trading, knowing how to trade, still over leveraging, knowing how to do all these things and just getting in my own way. I started making my first little money. I never really made too much money when it came to the live account just because I didn't have enough money to really give me that good ROI. Because me as a trader, I'm not the type of person that's going to go full Hail Mary and risk the whole entire account. I'm trying to be more, I like to maintain an account. If I could have a $10,000 account, I can risk $500 to $1,000 a trade. If I lose all 10 trades, then I might be doing something wrong for the most part. If I have a decent win rate, 60, 70% of the time, and I go for a good risk reward of at least 1 to 2, 1 to 3, I can make something on a live account with $10,000 in comparison to try to risk 5,000 a trade, 10,000 a trade. I didn't have the money to be able to do that. So I like to maintain an account. So then that's when prop firms came into play and I was able to take advantage of it. I was able to get consistent payouts. FTMO was the first prop firm that I used. And I'm the type of person, I didn't like to use multiple prop firms. I'll just stick to one, leave it at that. And until like the whole MetaTrader got taken down, I didn't leave FTMO. And then once MetaTrader got taken down, that's when I finally started going to the future side. But throughout that time, it was like a lot that happened. Like there's so many different things that happen within the journey, and I'm gonna try to put it as structured as possible. So from me getting some payouts, I was living with my parents. I then started working at UPS. So this is around 2022. So it's about a year and a half, 2 years after COVID. So things are a little bit less strict. I can work a job. So I started working. I had a little bit more experience. I'm still living with my parents because I'm just young. I'm like 18, 19 at the time. So I'm just stacking up money at this point, just doing side hustles, just everything I make is just 100% mine. So I got to the point to where I had enough money to then move because I was just getting payouts. I then became a manager, not a manager, a supervisor at UPS. So I was on salary. So everything was just working in my favor because I also went from working in the mornings. Like I told you, when I was working under the table, I was working from 6 a.m. to 3 p.m. There was no real time to really just sit there at a computer at my charts. It's just whenever I can, I'm gonna look at the charts. Whenever I can, I'm gonna try to catch a trade. From me changing from working that under table job, going to UPS, I went from trading in the morning, not trading in the morning. I went from working in the morning to working at night. So now my whole morning, I'm home. My whole morning, I'm at my computer. My whole morning, I could do things such as live stream. That's when those videos started to come, when I actually had the time to do that, when I actually had the time to be here and actually be intentional with the work. Because when you're at a job, you're just trying to make money. You're worried about, I got to go on break. You're worried about, I don't want to be here no more. You're not really doing what you should. You're doing what you want to do. And that wasn't an environment that was really conducive to my success. Can you make it work? Yes. But you don't want to have as much friction when you're working a job like that, and especially a warehouse job where you're actually physically working. Like once you put your phone back in your pocket, you're picking up a box. You might hear ding, trading view alert, and you're holding about. What are you gonna do? I've been in that situation so many times. Usually, it's not a fun situation you want to be in. You at least want to be attentive and see what's going on, because it's a lot of emotions that will play a part, and that's one of the biggest things I'd say. Risk management and emotional control is one of the biggest things. But I got my time back, and that was when I started to see success. That's when I started building a daily routine. I started doing the things such as live streaming my trades. I started going to the gym consistently. I started really building a daily routine of doing something that works. That's something I wasn't able to do when I was under the table. That's something I wasn't able to do when I was just trying to figure out what system worked, what strategy worked, because I didn't have confidence in myself or my system to just show up every day and follow something. I was waking up every day and trying to figure out what worked, trying to figure out what am I doing right, what am I doing wrong. But once I found something that worked, it was just a matter of not getting in my own way, not over trading, not over leveraging, going to work after the L, going to work after the W, no matter the result, just continuing to do what's going to get me in a better position. Because like I said, I had no bills. So even if I lose a trade, it doesn't really affect me that I'm going to be in the same position no matter what. And I really got to my head, like, no matter what, even if I lose all my money or make all my money, I'm going to be in the same position no matter what. So it kind of takes the mental aspect. It doesn't hurt as much. The emotions aren't going to be there as much. But then I moved out on my own. I moved to Florida, 2022. That's when I went through a whole lot of more, I would say this is when the real life kicked in. I thought I was going through a lot at that point. Now trying to trade on my own, because I had the option of transferring from UPS in Philadelphia to the UPS in Tampa, Florida. I had the option because I've been there for a while, and UPS, it's a warehouse. It's very flexible. They have them everywhere. So it's just one of those jobs where it worked, and it's a warehouse job. Warehouses, they always hire people. That's just one of the easiest jobs you can get if you're willing to put in the work. And me being young and then like athletic for the most part, it's easier for me. I can actually take advantage of it without really stressing it compared to, say, if someone's older, they may not be in as much shape. So I could take advantage of that. But I was like, you know what? I want to trade. I want to do this. I don't want to work no more. I finally got the money for it. I'm finally seeing a little success. Let's go for it. That's when the real life kicked in. I was doing good for a while because I had money saved. I had like basically cash like in my bank. I didn't have to work. I could just do nothing for a month, 2 months, and nothing would change. But that's where a lot of the real life, that's when the real discipline kicked in. That's when all the things that I never experienced, having bills, having to actually pay for my own food, having to do all these things that I never did before, and trying to figure out how to live on my own, and trying to figure out the emotional control of trading, trying to not get in my own way. I was going through a lot, and that happened like the first year and a half, like 2 years of me being in Florida. I would say the first 5-6 months were the fun months. I came here, I had the money, but then the reality started kicking in. I'm spending more. I'm not making as much money trading. I'm losing trades. I'm losing funded accounts. I'm going for challenges that aren't getting passed no more. I'm putting money into live accounts. I'm losing the money. So it's like it's like a domino. You fall down the steps. You know how hard it is to just catch yourself once you catch like the momentum of falling down the steps. That's like what happens. You just kept going, and one thing led to the next. And the awareness wasn't there. I wasn't aware of what the problem was. When you're aware of a problem is way different, but I wasn't aware that I was a problem. I wasn't aware that I already knew how to trade. I just kept doing the dumb things that would take me out the game. I kept doing the dumb things that would just set me 10 steps back. I will go a whole month doing what I'm supposed to. In 1 week, 1 day, 2 days, it's all gone. And then I will blame the system. I will blame the whole time. It's something that I had to do. I didn't have the discipline to walk away after L's. I didn't have the discipline to walk away after not feeling good. And that's really the biggest thing. You don't feel certain ways, and that leads us to want to react a certain way. But you can control how you react. I can't control how I'm going to feel after a trade hits TP, hits stop loss, if I lose money, but I can control what I do. And that's when I actually started to change my actions. Like I said, I had the daily routine. I started changing what I was doing. No matter how I felt, I would just do these things on a daily basis. And once I started doing it enough time, you just start to see the compound effect. You start to see the consistency. And one of the biggest things that I say is how you do one thing is how you do everything. I show up every day on the charts just as I show up every day on YouTube, just as I show up every day for the gym, just as I show up every day for Instagram. It's not just one thing. It's how you do one thing. It's how you do everything. And it's going to lead into all these different aspects. And people don't realize that. They think it's just trading. Now, I went through the phase where I was only trading. It was not fun. Trading doesn't take that much time. And if you're trading and it takes up that much time, it's going to be a mental battle. Your days are going to feel really slow. It's going to be a lot going on compared to if you just have a strict time to trade, move on to the next. You're doing something else. You're doing something else. And you just wake up. It's very structured. When your life is not structured, it's not fun, in my opinion. You can make it work, but by what means? You know what I mean? Not everything is worth it, in my opinion.
So when things do sort of kick off in your life, and you've got to leave the city for whatever reason, or you've got some family coming in, something changes and that routine can't be kept, what do you do then?
For the most part, I know in my head taking one day off isn't bad, right? Like one day off, most people, they wish for me, only taking one day off, most people like only one day. They're like only. But for me, I just kind of changed the way I think of it. I'm going every single day, so that when those days happen, I might feel like I should be doing this. I might feel like I should be going to the gym. But guess what? That's why I go every day, so that I can actually appreciate not having to do it. Even though mentally I might feel like I'm missing a day. Mentally, I might feel like I'm not being as most productive. But it's not about how we feel a lot of time. It's about doing it because we know we should. We might want to be on the charts. We might not want to be at the gym, but it's about doing what we should no matter how we feel. And that's one of the biggest things I've kind of learned over time.
Hey folks, what a view behind me. I'm at Black Bull Markets headquarters here in Auckland, New Zealand. Speaking of views, you can get TradingView paid plans for free at Black Bull Markets, and you can also get a 100% deposit bonus for your first deposit up to $1,000. All you need to do is click the Trading Nut link in the description below.
And do you have any sort of I suppose barriers or I suppose barriers or blinkers or something to keep that day structured for yourself, like things that are in the way for you so you can't overstep into an unstructured day?
I would say there's always things that are going to come up, but I would say there's definitely like ways you can go about it. Like just having something like this, like having just like a checklist on your phone so that no matter what, you're seeing what you got to do. And no matter what, if you don't do it, is your fault. It's different. Like I said, that awareness, you didn't know you're supposed to do that. But if you know you're supposed to do it and you didn't do it, you have no one to blame but yourself. You can lie to other people. You can say you're productive today to other people. But if you know you had 5 things to do, you only did 3, you only did 2, you can't lie to yourself. And you're either going to have to sit with that guilt and eventually never change, or change. And that's just an easy thing. You can even have as like your wallpaper, wherever my phone is. Like I have little things like your goals, just like things to look at on a daily basis that are going to your why, because not every day you're going to be aware of your why. Not every day you're going to have like that emotion, like, why you're doing this in the first place. But if you can keep making yourself remember, if you can keep doing the things that are going to make you remember your why, if you can keep putting your goals in front of your face, you're going to have the reason to keep going. Like even like today, it's a cloudy day, but guess what? You have a reason behind it. No matter if it's cloudy, if it's sunny, if it's rainy, there's an earthquake, you have a why that's deeper than any of the external things that can happen. You could lose a trade, but that trade being lost, losing a little bit of money is not bigger than your why. It's a very small, like in terms of priorities, in terms of importance, is money. Like money is nothing. If anything, time is way more important. I'm more upset if I waste time on a trade versus money. I can get money back. Time is something I can't get back.
And I suppose that's something a lot of people probably don't have that mindset, right? They don't have the time money mindset where they weigh up money as less than time. I mean, how did you get to that point? Because that's quite a advanced.
I would say around that time when I had nothing but time and I had money. That's when I realized, because there was also points in my journey after like that whole situation, me trying to build my life together, me after losing all that money, after downsizing my apartment, after doing a whole bunch of things to basically set my life back on track so I'm not spending as much money every month, so that I'm more structured. So everything is it makes more sense. I'm just being smarter with it, essentially. It just really came down to experience. Like I realized you could have $100,000. $100,000 is a lot of money to someone that doesn't have a lot of bills, but to someone that's spending a lot of money, to someone that's trying to make a lot of money, it's not the same. And I would say I had a lot of money, but I lost a lot of time just doing nothing with it. And then guess what? I ended up with neither of them. The time is gone and the money is gone. But I know I could make the money back because I made the money back. I've made the money back plus more. And I could probably keep doing that over my entire life. Versus time, I'll also say like having pets. Pets is one thing that's really shown me time, because they have a way less amount of time in comparison to humans. And when you see that over time, this is like one of those things where It's just experience. You don't know what you don't know. And some people just aren't put in certain situations to where they can appreciate certain things. But I would just really say experience.
So,
Like
so what
experience is the
about
best
like
teacher.
what about like people that have, they've got a 9 to 5 job. They're stuck in a 9 to 5 job. They've got an hour commute each side of that, and they've only got the evenings to trade, or potentially the weekends if they're going to trade crypto or something like that. What would you recommend in terms of trying to put a disciplined routine in place? Given the fact they've probably got friends and family, they want to socialize and they've got other commitments. What do you reckon?
I would say it really just comes down to priorities, because at the end of the day, me personally, I have friends and family, but I also understand that if I want to get to the place that I want to be, it's going to require certain sacrifices. At the end of the day, you might want a certain goal, but who said it was going to come at the way that you want it, right? Like I wanted certain goals that I thought I was going to have years ago. I haven't got them, certain ones. There's certain ones I have got. There's certain ones that I probably not going to get for a couple of years. But it's just at the end of the day, you got to be willing to do the things that you don't want to do, like the discipline of it. To be able to get the results that other people don't have, you're going to have to do the things that they don't want to do. Most people, they want to hang out with their friends. Most people, they don't want to go to the gym. So just by like looking at like that, what do most people want to do? And if you could kind of do the opposite of it, you're probably going to get the results that you want, but it's not going to come at, nothing's ever going to be just all good, right? Like there's going to be ups and downs. Like from focusing on your business, you're not going to be able to spend time with certain family, but it's really just a matter of what do you want from life? Like there's no right or wrong. Somebody might think they just want to have family. They don't care about money. There's nothing wrong with that, but it just comes down to what do you want as an individual? I know what I want, which is why I work the way I do, which is why I have my day-to-day structured the way I do. And even me, I might not give as much time to my friends and family at this moment, but I also have in my goal to be able to do it at some point. But to be able to get to that point, I got to be able to sacrifice it now. And yeah, I might possibly go through things that are unexpected, but there's certain things that you don't know. You don't know when you're going to achieve your goals. You don't know when you're going to become a profitable trader, but you got to have the belief and kind of move with faith, essentially, that it is going to happen that way. But just priorities.
Yeah, priorities, isn't it? So let's dive into the trading aspect of things. So more strategy, that kind of thing. So I saw from your first video, you had like order blocks marked out, you had fib levels marked out. What's changed from there, and what do you do now?
So I would say around that time, like the first videos on it were probably from 3-4 years ago. From that time, I trade very similar. In my opinion, over time, I haven't changed like strategies. I don't even like to say I have a strategy. I just have a way of viewing the market. I'm reading price action. It's just, I would call it a system versus strategy. I don't really use order blocks that more, just because in my opinion, they work. In my opinion, any concept works. It's just a matter of what is going to gravitate towards you and what can you see. Like it really just comes down to like we're all looking at the same chart. We could trade two different ways. If we're looking at the same chart, it's the same chart, same price, same time. It's just a different perspective. You might be on a lower time frame, seeing one thing. I might be on a higher. It's the same chart. We're just two different perspectives on it. But what is working for you? What are you going to have confidence in? What are you going to be willing to walk away from? That's really what it comes down to. Nowadays, I'm heavy. I trade a lot of like fair value gaps. Like I learned a lot of these concepts from ICT, like fair value gaps and like false breaks. Those are like my two primary setups that I look for on a daily basis. And anybody that trades that's on the charts, you can find fair value gap fills any time frame all day long. You can find false breaks, basically a false break when price goes above an old high or low. It makes people think it's going to go higher and immediately goes the other way. People call it stop loss hunts, but it's just the way the market moves. It's just liquidity. It's just every time frame, every candle. These are two things that are happening. And once you have things that are happen so often, it's just about being able to structure it for high probability. I'm not looking for every single gap. I'm paying attention to the higher time frame gaps. I'm paying attention to where there's less gaps, because if you go to the lower time frame, you're going to have a lot of stuff going on. There's going to be a lot more possible trades, a lot more possible entries. And in my opinion, less is more. I want to be on the higher time frame. If I'm on a higher time frame, I might get one gap, maybe none. And at that point, okay, I can kind of structure it, but is less is more. I can actually get something that might make more sense. I like to also follow the trend, because say, for example, say it is like a Tuesday. It's Tuesday, New York session. If it's Tuesday, New York session, Monday was bullish. And at 9:30, say we run a previous day's low. At 9:30 in the morning, we tap into like a big figure level, like 42,000. Like I'm just kind of stacking up reasons for why price may likely have a reaction from an area. Because at the end of the day, you can have 1,000 reasons why it could play out, why it should play out, and it might not. I'm not the person. I'm not going to have 1,000 reasons why I should. I'm going to look for 3 to 4. I'm going to have my risk behind it. I'm going to give myself enough like arrows. And by arrows, I mean like enough trade attempts. Like I'll give myself a max 3 trades in a day. If I lose 2, that's it. If I give myself room for in case there's a break even, but if I lose 2 trades in a row, Like that's done. Like I even have this over here. Like I've had this for a little bit. Like it's a little bit broken, but I've had it for a while. Like this is just like a thing. It says two. It's just like a peace sign, but I've kept it because it's like my two trays. That's the way I look at it. Like when I look at it, it's just my two. Like my two trays, my two L's. And that's one of the biggest things. Like I told you, that discipline to actually walk away, the discipline to actually just let it be, not over trade, not over leverage. That is something I kind of keep there. Is just two. You don't need any more. Like even with a W, I'm not really trading after W because with a high risk reward, looking for 1 to 2s, 1 to 3s, I don't need to take 2 trades in a day because I might just give back some of the win, just trying to make more. With a good risk reward, all I need is 1 W. I can walk away smooth. But if I lose 2 trades, my average win is still gonna be that same trade, if not bigger. But just to keep it simple, like my system, false breaks for value gap fills, I use things such as the Fibonacci, big figure levels. But I would really just say I'm just stacking up confirmations in high probability areas for why price may likely have a specific reaction, because that's all it is. Our TPs, our stop losses, our entries, is we're just expecting reactions from specific areas. It might be a little bit, it might be a big one, but we don't know. Our little reaction might give us TP2, it might give us TP1, it might not give us nothing. But all we could do is control risk and control how we handle either winning or losing that trade.
And so with your risk profile, I mean, are you putting like a fixed stop loss of like X number of pips or points
For
or
the
something?
most part,
ticks?
depending, if I trade like US 30, the ranges tend to be wider. I'm usually risking about 50 to 100 points. It really, like a lot of like people ask this, oh, how can you tell? It really just comes down to like experience and just being able to tell. Like if I'm usually using 50 and then today for some reason it looks like 5 points, like 50 might just look like 5 points.
Yeah.
It's just sometimes I'm just like, okay, this is probably 100-point type of day. And especially with indexes, like I trade US 30, NAS 100. Those are the two things I trade. They move a lot, like 50 points, 100-point stop loss. If I give it a couple, I'm always trading on the hour, the 4 hour. If I give it an hour, 2 hours, that's more than enough time for it to actually have that type of reaction. But if I'm on something, say like NAS 100, I'm probably risking 30 to 50 points. 30 is what I'm averagely risking, but then like there's some days where 30 looks like nothing. 30 is just small. But there's also times where I remember it was probably like maybe a month ago, the ranges were very wide. I risked 200 points on NAS. And that was like being conservative. That was looking for 400 points on a regular day trade. It was just because the ranges were so wide. Like on that same type of trade idea, that same type of setup could have been a 50-point stop loss on a different day, but it's just the ranges sometimes be extremely wide. But I really just tell people it comes down to awareness. Always measure beforehand. Like if you're going to get into a trade, measure what that 50 points, that 100 points looks like beforehand. Don't just assume 50 points is going to be good, because you might get in that trade, put the 50 points and realize, did I put the right stop loss? And then you're looking at it like, oh, this doesn't look right. And it might just be right. It's just the range might have just been really wide. News plays a big part in that. And that's something that it's just awareness. A lot of people, you don't know what you don't know. Awareness is going to be key to kind of keep you out of unfavorable probabilities like that.
Hey, if candlesticks still confuse you, they're costing you more than you think. My private mentor JJ's decoded 25,000 hours of trading into one better candlestick. Click the link in the description or visit tradingnut.com to watch the free video and grab the free guide.
Yeah, look, I mean, I remember seeing something ages ago, years ago, in fact, and it was a trader that I never ended up meeting, but they'd written something and they'd said, basically, if you think you've gone deep enough, you haven't. You kind of need to go about like 25, 30 levels deep in terms of making sure you tick every single box. And a lot of it comes, it's eventually sort of drilled into your brain. You don't need to think about it. Things like, is news coming? What is the range for the day? Like, what is that stop loss going to be acceptable? Do I just accept it as this is my fixed stop loss? I'm never going to go above 50, or do I move with the market? And the market's telling me, well, that's going to get hit, like you've just said. So yeah, you've got to go deep to get there. Now, what about you talked about the hourly time frame, 4 hour time frame? I mean, are you always getting a trade every single day, or are there some no trade days?
I would say for the most part, I get a lot of decent trades. Like especially I'm trading New York open like 9:30, 10 in the morning EST, so New York time. There's a lot of volume at those times. And in my opinion, there's false breaks for value gap fills. There's a lot of them. But even me being on the 1 hour and 4 hour, I get a decent amount of trades. So that's why I tell people you don't really need to be on the lower time frames. I get sometimes 2, 3, maybe 4 ideas in a day. Just because I get a certain amount of ideas doesn't mean I'm going to take them. But I'm also trying to catch trades that I could just hold the entire day. I'm not trying to catch a little scalp. I'm trying to catch moves that I have a high, probability, or a high, hypothesis that is going to be going in a specific direction the entire day. Sometimes I'm right, sometimes I'm wrong, but I want to be able to structure myself on that higher time frame. So where if I am right, I just got to do nothing. A lot of times the best thing to do is nothing. Once you're in the trade, just wait, just do absolutely nothing. And I want to be able to structure myself to where if I take that one trade or if I take 2 trades, one of those trades is structured enough to where if I am right, I'm going to be good for the entire day.
So you mentioned like 2R, 3R, and also break even. So there is some kind of decision making going on when you actually enter the trade as to where you're going to get out. What's the rules for the break even, and then also for deciding to go for a 3R?
So I would say this is my exact structure system. I do this every single time. When we do the chart, like breakdown, I could just show like the tool I use on the fib, but I just pull a tool on the fib. I just show like the risk reward based off of what I'm risking. So if I'm risking $100, it'll show where up $100, where up $200, up 300. It'll just basically show me based off of what I'm risking. So once I'm up 1-to-1, I don't take partials. I don't take profit. I just move my stop loss to break even. That's my version of mitigating risk. I might not be taking profit, but I'm not losing money. So in a way, I'm taking profit. I'm making sure I'm managing risk. And that's more important than any money. It's called risk management, not profit management for a reason, right? But that's when I break even at 1-to-1. If I'm risking $100, once I'm up 100, I'll break even. Because if I'm willing to lose 100, I don't see why once I'm up 100, I'd be willing to lose that same 100 again. Some people are okay with that. Some people rather give it some room. Me personally, I'm not comfortable with that. So I would just break even at 1-to-1. At 1-to-2, that's where I'm taking profit majority of the times because, like I said, if one bad full max day of L's is only 2. So most times a 1-to-2 is more than enough. If I'm having a 60 to 70% win rate, I might not win every single trade, but over time, that average of having 1-to-2s, that average of sometimes catching a 1-to-2 but letting it go a little bit higher and making an extra 200, an extra 300 just from letting it run just a little bit, because I'm not having a crazy swing trade. When I have 50 points, sometimes it might just go 5 points, 10 points above that TP, and I might just make a little bit more, but that little bit more adds up over time. But it's like the same thing with the drawdown. Sometimes it might be a big move and you might lose a little bit more with that stop loss, but that's why that risk management is key. You never really can control how much you can win, but you can control how much you could lose. And that's one of the things people got to focus on. But at 1-to-2, that's my TP 99% of the time. TP3 is like, we got to have a lot of volume. It's really like a awareness. Like if I see we're moving a lot, but if it took me an hour, 2 hours to get to TP2, I'm out of there. If we get to the TP2 in like 5, 10, 15 minutes, I might give it some time. But at that point, I'm already going to be break even. So if I'm holding past TP2, I'm 100% aware. I'm either going to be break even or I'm just going to be basically, it's my fault because I'm holding. Like if I'm willing to hold past TP2, at that point, I already know because I've done that too many times. Around the time when I was losing money, when I was doing the dumb things, when I was trading London session, there's been multiple situations where I'm just holding and holding. I'm just like, it could go higher. Why not? I'm already in it. Let's just keep doing it. Have a structured system. Just follow it. You're probably not going to make as much as you could, but I can guarantee you making something is better than making nothing. You might be able to make 6,000, but guess what? You might try to make 6 and it might stop at 5 and go all the way back down to break even, might stop you out and you might take another trade. It's just, you don't want to have that first domino fall. Once you can understand what is causing that first domino to fall, you can keep yourself from self-sabotaging myself. And me, that's why and how I can keep myself from self-sabotaging myself.
And so for example, you get to 1R. How do you know you're at 1R if are you sitting there literally watching the price every second? Or are you
so when I'm trading, I'm actively here. Like for the most part, I'm not taking a trade. I live trade every day. I don't think I've traded that's not live, and I don't even know how long. It's one of the things I told you, how you do everything is I've been live trading since those videos back then. It's just one of the things I've kind of built into the daily routine. It's also helped me have a little bit more discipline because I don't care what nobody's trade ideas are. I've been doing it for so long. I could be with 50 people all going against me. It just don't even matter. I've done it long enough and I've just built the habit of just doing what I want to do, doing what I see. That just, in my opinion, it just also helps me have the pure confidence in myself and my system, because when you're able to go against everybody no matter what and see it play out and be right numerous amounts of times, it's just like a level of confidence that I can't teach that, and nobody could teach that. It's just you got to go through it. You got to do it from getting the experience. But yeah, every day.
At what point would you just cut the trade? Say, for example, like, you'd be sat there for 4 hours and things not moving. Are you going to go, okay, well, my trading session's finished, I'm done. I'm just going to cut it, or I'm going to trail a stopper or something like that? Or would you just set the take profit and walk away, or anything like that?
So after 11 o'clock, so from 9 to like 11, that's my real time frame to look for trades. If I'm in a trade already after 11, I'm just gonna walk away. I'm gonna get my day started. I'm just gonna let it do what it's gonna do. Whatever. I'm gonna have, like, say if I'm not at break even yet, I'm gonna have my alerts. So when it does hit TV1, I am gonna break even. My stop loss is always gonna be there no matter what. So if I get stopped out, I'm gonna get stopped out regardless. But let's just say I'm not break even yet after 11. I'm gonna have my alert just at TP1. So whenever it does get hit, I'll break even. But after 11, I'm really trying to get myself off the charts, because if I wanted to, I could sit there all day, but there's no saying that trade is gonna hit TP. There's no saying it's even gonna do anything. But I might just sit there waiting, hoping, and it might do the exact opposite of what I want. I'm gonna get my day started no matter what. If I'm not in a trade after 11, I'm not gonna take a trade. If I'm in it already, I'm gonna just let it do its thing.
Right. Okay. So you did mention setting alerts there. So you might set alerts and go and check it and take profit, etc. Now, what about if you had to give advice to somebody who's starting out in trading or has been doing it for a while and hasn't quite got there yet? What would you give them in terms of like a roadmap to become successful?
I would say there's like three things every person or trader needs to be a consistently profitable trader, not just a profitable. Anybody could be a profitable trader. Most people are profitable traders, but can you be a consistently profitable trader? Anybody can win one trade. Anybody can get a funded account, get one payout, but can you do it long term? I did it for a year, two years, and then I stopped being able to do it. I had bills still, and guess what? No matter what I already did, I wasn't doing it no more. It comes down to what are you going to be able to keep doing. I had got payouts before. I had past funded accounts before. I had the money from trading to pay for my bills, but from doing dumb things, from losing my money, I wasn't able to do that no more. From like building those bad habits, it gets a lot harder. But you got to understand the three things. First, you're going to need a system, strategy, whatever you want to call it, something you have confidence in. You don't need to be risking money on it to have confidence in it. The same thing that works on demo will work on a live account. In terms of the trading, the market, liquidity, the process, the setups, money doesn't matter. It's going to do the same thing regardless if you take it on a paper trade, a live account. The only difference is you might not have emotions. You might not be as happy, but the process is going to be the same exact thing. Get confidence in yourself and your system with a strategy first on demo. From there, that's when you're going to have to learn the risk management. That's when you're going to have to learn emotional control. But you don't want to be learning all three of those at the same time. Trying to manage your emotions while trying to figure out if your strategy works, if your system works, if you're even a good trader, trying to build a risk management. When you're trying to do all these at the same time, you don't know what the problem is. Focus on one thing first. Start with demo, because guess what? You're only going to be saving money. You can keep your job. Just have it structured to where you're saving money and only focusing on building a system and plan that you can just wake up, follow. Like I said, have a daily routine, have a daily step-by-step. Just wake up, follow the same exact thing. This could be the trading plan. Step 1, do this. Step 2, look for this. Step 3, look for this. And based off of that, just follow it every day. And then over time, have the journal, learn from the L's, learn from the W's. And it's an experience game. Any system works. The market is going to be the same market no matter what system. If it's a system, somebody probably thought it worked to an extent. So it probably worked before on something. But guess what? It's not a matter of if the system works. It's not a matter of if the strategy works. Is the person going to be able to use it? A bike works. But guess what? If you don't know how to ride a bike, it doesn't mean the bike doesn't work. You just don't know how to ride a bike. I could take the bike and ride it perfectly fine. It doesn't mean that it doesn't work. But guess what? You might throw the bike away, blaming the bike. That's not how it works. I wish it was as easy as having a good system and strategy, because we all would be able to make a lot more money. All of us would. We have access. The market shows us what it's doing. That's the easy part. But being able to manage yourself, your emotions, that's something you don't see. And that's what most people aren't aware of. I would say focus on that. Don't focus on the system strategy. It's key. It's necessary, but it's not everything.
It's great advice. In fact, I really like the fact you've said, look, just focus on one thing first, because you're not going to really realize what's broken until you get over that hurdle and then add something else. Mm-hmm. Now, what do you say, and this is a really odd question, but what do you say to the folks out there that have heard this and have said, yeah, but I don't want to do that?
I would say regardless, experience is going to be the key. If you're not happy with where you are, if you're not okay with where you are, then no matter what, you have to change something. You can't expect your life to change without changing something. If what you're doing is working, then you probably aren't watching this to begin with. But if you're in a position where you're not happy with, obviously something you're doing isn't working. And if it is working, you just got to keep doing that until it eventually leads to results. Because one thing I also like to go by is, like you said earlier, I was able to catch a trade. I think it was yesterday. Yesterday, I caught a trade for $2,000. I had lost a trade on Monday. I wasn't able to catch that trade based off of yesterday. I was able to catch that trade because of the person that I was able to build myself to be, to wake up yesterday and do that. To wake up yesterday, not over trade. To wake up yesterday, not over leverage. It's like a delayed result. You're not going to make money based off the things you do today. You're going to make money based off the things you already did to be the person that you are today. So guess what? I mean, you don't got to listen to me, but You can't lie to yourself. You'll know if you're doing something right or wrong. Once you go through enough experiences, and you're going to know what you should be doing, what you shouldn't be doing. And the only one that's really going to suffer is yourself. So in my opinion, if you can't expect change without change, whatever you're not changing, you're choosing. Simple as that.
Now, what about, we'll wrap this show up on this, but I mean, did you ever have a day where you were like just going, this is ridiculous, I can't believe I've managed to do this? And then what happened after that day?
I've had multiple of those days, those multiple blown accounts, and it's always because you did something you didn't have to do. You took a trade you didn't have to trade. You took a trade you didn't have to take. You over risked because you were confident in trade. You just, for what? Why were you overconfident on a Monday? It was just what you just woke up and felt over. It's just the little things that you don't. It's just like, why? It's just something so small. Like, I could even get upset at myself because you usually just do it for no reason. Like, you just wake up, I'm going to follow my rules today. I'm going to be disciplined. One thing leads to the next, and you're just 5 trades in. You're telling yourself, I know I'm not supposed to take this trade. You take it anyway. I know I'm about to blow this count. I don't even care about the count. Blow it. And then you're thinking back at it 3 hours later, like, why did I even? It's always in the moment. You got to keep yourself from doing it in the moment, because in the moment, all logic goes out the window. But if you can have that awareness of, last time I did this, I got this result. Last time I thought the same exact thing, I blew my account. Like, that's why I have the emotions I have right now to that question, because I already know all those things I did. I still feel like that. Like, when I was dealing with, I trade on Hango Trade, they had some server issues. So I was like dealing with trying to catch trades, but like the servers weren't working. I was mad. And that's like yesterday. I'm sitting here like, I'm watching trades go by. I'm literally calling the trade out for other people. They're catching the trade, but I physically can't press buy or sell. So I'm just like, I'm just here just watching. And I was just like, you know what? There's only so much I could do. But like I said, it comes down to building yourself into the person that can handle that. Because 2-3 years ago, I might have just bought some more accounts, put some money in a different broker, and just try to make something happen. But you just build yourself into the person that's actually able to be capable of becoming a consistently profitable trader. Not just profitable. Anybody can be profitable. Most people are profitable traders, but consistently. Can you keep doing it for a month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months? That's what the main goal is.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned Mondays there. Like I've had some terrible Mondays, and it's almost like, for whatever reason, like the weekend comes and I feel like, okay, right, the markets are open again. Here we go.
You know what I think it is?
I'll just tell you this. I look back at the Monday and I'm like, at the end of the day, I'm like, it's only Monday. What are you doing, you muppet? You've got 4 more days. You've got to.
I think it's the expectations. The biggest things that we do as humans, not just traders, is have expectations. I'm going to pass this week. I'm going to get a payout this week. I'm going to be a profitable trader this month. I'm going to leave my job in that. A lot of expectations lead to the emotions because they don't get met. And I'm all for wishful thinking. I'm going to make this happen. But you also got to be aware of having realistic goals, because if you just started trading, you saying, I'm going to quit my job in the next 5 months. I hope you will. I hope you're thinking that way, because you're actually going to put the work in to actually get it. But once you get hit with that result, that's when things start to take a little bit of a toll. Why didn't it happen? Why can he do it and I can't? Why am I not here yet? And that's when you start doing the dumb things. You start trying to rush the process. You start trying to get closer to that payout. You start trying to make the extra couple dollars that you need for it to count as a winning trading day. You start doing the little things because you're trying to chase a result. The biggest thing I tell a lot of people nowadays is, what is the intention behind your trade? Is the intention because the trade is part of your system, it's part of your plan? Or are you taking that trade because you're trying to get a payout, because you're trying to pass a funded account? What is the intention? The intention is everything you need to know, because no matter what, if I take a trade, win, lose, or draw, if I took that trade because it was part of my system and my plan and I was supposed to, I don't really care that much after the result. But if I did something I wasn't supposed to, that's when I feel it. I take a trade that wasn't part of my plan because I was trying to make $10, because let's just say on Top Step, you need a $200 for a winning trading day. There's been times I made $190, $199. So I'm like, I need $1. I need that winning trading day. And then you lose $1,000 trying to make one. And it's just like, why? It just doesn't make sense. And then you're looking back at it because it's intention. What is the intention? The intention is going to be everything. If that was just a normal trade and you lost 1,000, okay. But you just try to make $1. The intention wasn't trying to find a good trade, wasn't trying to find a good setup. You were trying to make $1 to get a winning trading day. The intention is going to be everything. If you can ask yourself the intention behind the trade, it's going to solve a lot of problems. And it'll keep you out of a lot of situations you don't need to be in.
Great advice there. Now, what's the next sort of 5 years hold for you? Where do you see yourself being?
I'm trying to be, you can see it a little bit. I need to be up here somewhere. I need a bigger view. I need a crazier view and everything. Like, I just got like my nice setup and everything of recent. So it was good timing that we did this interview, because I had my one desk, but I just been on a laptop ever since I moved in this apartment. Like I was heavy on having my desk set up in my other apartments, but once I moved here, probably 6, 7 months ago, I don't know, I was just like nomad mode, just laptop everywhere, just laptop in the living room, laptop in the office. I was just like digital nomad. But I would say the next 5 years, I want to be able to expand. I haven't had a 10K trading day yet. The most I've ever made in like one singular day in a trade has probably been like 4,000, 5,000. And that's not on any prop firms. I've probably made a decent amount of money in prop firms, but I've also lost a lot. And it's also unrealized. So in my opinion, I won't really even count the prop firms because I've had $6,000 days, but I've also lost all of that plus some. So it's just, I don't even count it. In terms of like my biggest live day, I've probably only made 4,000 or 5,000, but that's a lot. Most people also don't put into perspective how much money that really is. I've made a lot of my money and I haven't even made more than $10,000 in a day. A lot of people put these big numbers. If you're making $10,000 in a day, even if you do that half the month, you're up. You're up a good amount of money compared to the average person. You got to just be realistic. A lot of people can replace their job with a couple trades, you don't need that much. A lot of people have those unrealistic results, some unrealistic goals. Trust me, you don't need that much money to be able to change your life. To be able to live the life that you want doesn't require as much money a lot of time, especially when it just comes down to replace your job. That's the easy part. Replacing your job is the easy part. And people, you just gotta, I also say to end it off, appreciate your job. Because a lot of people, they don't want to work. I was the same person. I left multiple jobs trying to trade full time. Use the job as a stepping stone. Don't think of your job as, I hate working here. Just look at it as, this is going to be the last job I got to work. This is going to be the job that allows me to get the money to get my time back. Because like I said, we're either using money for stuff to spend time, or we're using our time. Like those are the two forms of payment, time or money. So right now you might have to spend your time to be able to make the money to get your time back. But it's just about the goals, about having a plan behind it, all about perspective.
Great advice. Hey, look, a great show as well. Now, Andre, what's the best way for folks to find out more about you?
I would say just follow me on YouTube. Like that's the best. You'll be able to see everything you need to on YouTube. Just FBA Capital, or just look up Andre Diaz. You'll find me. You'll see the vlogs. That's all. You'll see everything you need to. Everything from documenting the day-to-day, everything you need to know, the reality of it.
Brilliant. Well, look, folks, head down there, link below the video here. We'll put all those links in the show notes page. Whilst you're down there, hit subscribe, like, and that notifications bell, and we'll see you in the next one. In fact, what we might even do is jump in and share a screen now and have a look at what Andre actually does on a price chart. So
now let's do it. Let's show the magic. Show the process of it.